the amount of broken people that come to dancing, it's just crazy. I think is the biggest place besides the actual mental institution that gathers all of the broken people.
Yeah.
Why is it good to dance? What benefits we have?
Our dancing, you're servicing your boiler. So
Nice.
you get a stronger heart. Yeah? The ones that are well are the ones that are walking 2 miles a day.
And I know for a fact that if I wouldn't have started dancing, I don't know what I would do. I would go cuckoo. Hello, everybody. I am so excited to welcome you back to my podcast called The Rasa Show. And actually, this is a special one because I met this person who I like to call my friend now. And as I call them my friend, I also call them a doctor because that's what they are. And I am so excited because I always want to have somebody who actually knows really the things that I talk about from my common sense. So it's nice to have a person around where you can actually have a normal conversation with real facts and real knowledge. So in today's podcast, we're going to start and actually talk about the real benefits of dancing. And those benefits shall be explained by my friend Shereen. Welcome to the. I hope so. I'm pretty sure you're going to do a better job than me. I kind of, you read on Google.
True.
And then you repeat that to the people.
Yeah.
But you have a little bit more knowledge than just the Google. Okay. So this is my friend Shereen. And before we actually go into the whole benefits for dancing and stuff, tell us a little bit more about you, because I know you as a friend, as a dance student, and as a person that has a clinic and does a lot of amazing things. But what would you like people to know?
I think if I just give you a little bit of background.
Yeah, give us the background.
On the doctor side.
Yes.
So I qualified in 1995, which seems a lifetime away now. So I was lucky to study at Guy's and St Thomas's Hospital in London. So I then went on to train as a GP, really because I knew I wanted a family and that would benefit me. I could work and still have a family. It's a much more flexible job. So I've been working as a GP for the last 24 years in the NHS. I love my role. It's great. You can follow people from being a baby all the way into adult life. So
Nice.
I love that side of the job. I then had the opportunity to go on to specialise in dermatology, and I do some skin surgery, and I've done that for about 20 years. And then it was just really a natural progression to go on.
What does it involve, skin surgery? What do you cut?
So I cut lesions out of any part of the skin. So from basic lesions such as cysts and moles, all the way up to skin cancers that I do on the face. Nice and challenging. It's great that you can do that in the community as well, rather than people having to go to the hospital.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
I've then, sort of a natural progression, went on to aesthetic medicine. So I have a clinic in our local high street where
a very
I
nice
can
clinic.
Make people look prettier. And also, we do a lot of surgery there as well. So cyst moles on faces. It's great. So I have a really lovely job. So I do 3 different roles. Every day is different, and I enjoy all of them.
Nice. And it's interesting because there's some doctors who are specialized always in that one thing. And of course, just to be a doctor, you have to know a lot of different things before you even specialize in something. But you seem to have such a huge career in actually quite different roles in the whole field, which probably gives you a very wide understanding about many different things health related.
I think being holistic is the best thing. I was always also lucky in my medical degree. I got to take a year out and I did a psychology BSc.
Oh, you did?
So I'm very into mood and mental health. So that's another aspect. I think it gives you an overall picture about a person.
Well, I don't know how about you guys, but I think she's qualified to answer my questions. I think so. But why I got so excited when I met you and we talked about doing this podcast is because I have a main understanding about a lot of different things, health related and a lot of different things, dance related and stuff. But I always lack vocabulary and I always lack wider understanding. It's like it's one of those things that you've heard pieces and here and you know that this is right or this is wrong. You have a feeling for it because you've heard enough around you, but you can't verbalize it well enough. And when you talk to the people, it's so nice to have an expert to bounce from because it's then more correct. You give people the right information and they can actually make proper decisions about the things that they're going to do because it's not just words, it's actual facts. So I'm so grateful you're here.
Oh, I'm grateful that you've invited me.
But you might change your mind after you hear what I'm going to call our podcast together. So it's going to be Ask the Doctor. It's going to be as cheesy as you would expect from me. So the first thing that we have to talk about is the health in the dance, right? Yep. Why is it good to dance? What benefits we have. Now, I made a little podcast myself talking about it. And it was the same things that I want to ask you today. But you, I know 100% will actually deliver more facts.
Okay.
So the first thing that we know that is good about the dancing is apparently it's good for your heart, for the cardiovascular.
Yeah.
So could you tell us a little bit more about what that actually means? Why it's good and what is cardiovascular?
Yeah, I suppose that's sort of a physical health benefit from dancing. So if you think about the physical benefits, one of them is cardiovascular health. So very long word, doesn't really mean much to most people. I think if you think of it as how it affects your heart and your blood vessels, that's what cardiovascular health is. So by improving your cardiovascular health, you're improving conditions that affect the heart and your blood vessels. So like blood pressure or heart attacks. I like to think of it as a central heating system, really. So if you think of the central heating system, it's a closed system. So you've got your boiler at the center, which I would say was your heart with a pump. You've got your pipes, which are your blood vessels.
Okay.
And they run to your radiators, which you could look at as your end organs. So your brain, your kidneys, your heart. So if you are dancing, you're servicing your boiler. So you get a stronger heart. Yeah. And if you're dancing, you're lowering the pressure in your vessels. So by lowering the pressure, your blood pressure, you're not putting strain on all your end organs. So your brain, so if you're prone to likely to have a stroke, you're reducing your chance of stroke. If you're prone to having heart attacks, you're reducing the likelihood of that. So it's a better, when I am in my GP practice, I often use analogies to help people understand. I'm a visual learner. So
me too.
If I can see something, I can relate to something, I can understand it better.
I love that. That's fantastic. It's like my heating center, my boiler, and then everything just works appropriately when you dance. So guys, you have to dance. Now, another thing that I've heard about, a lot of people talk, and I was mentioning to it, but if I'm completely honest, I have no idea how it works. And that's about the bones. Apparently it's good for the bone density or something like that.
So
first of all, explain how bones can get more dense.
Okay, so
this is the bone and you wouldn't think anything happens to it.
So your bone density is really the strength of your bones.
Okay.
And our bone density increases from childhood up until in the women 30 and in men 40.
Okay.
And the way we do that is partly through our diet. So if we have a good diet, the bone density is better, but also relies on us doing what we call weight-bearing exercises.
Okay.
So putting weight through your feet, so things like dancing, whereas cycling and swimming wouldn't be a weight-bearing exercise.
Interesting.
So by dancing at a young age, you're building your maximum strength, which you want to get it to the highest. So, and then to continue dancing from the age of 30 or 40, your bone density naturally declines.
Right.
But by dancing, you're maintaining that bone density or reducing the decline.
That's the thing. You know, when you go on the scales, those fancy scales where you have no shoes on and no socks on, and then you have an app on your phone and it says your age, metabolic age,
Okay.
and the bone density is one of those things.
Yep.
And I always looked at it, mine apparently is good, whatever the metrics is, but I always thought, what does it mean?
Yeah.
Now I know.
So even more important when you hit menopause, because at menopause, your bone density really declines. So important just not to stop dancing, keep dancing.
Okay, well, the doctor ordered. I know I will keep going. Okay, so we got the bone density. That was a big one for me, to be honest. For so many years, I had no idea how this happens. Okay, another thing that I know for sure, and maybe we're stepping away from the physical health, but mental health. So that I know because I am a living proof of that. But can you elaborate on the mental health?
Yeah, I think as a dancer myself, if you dance, you know, once you've been dancing, you just feel better. And I think that's what keeps us going back. We just have a subjective view that there is some benefit, but there's loads of research on exercise and specifically dancing that it does show it reduces your anxiety levels and your stress levels. And I think everybody who's probably watching this podcast at some time in their life will have experienced those symptoms. I think specifically for dancing, it can increase your self-esteem because you're learning something. And the social connection around dancing is amazing.
That's a big one. You know, in salsa bachata community, I've been teaching for like 20 years. The amount of broken people that come to dancing, and I'm talking borderline depressed, if not depressed, me included. I've gone through some things in my life, but it's just crazy. I think it's the biggest place besides the actual mental institution that gathers all of the broken people in one place, but then for some reason they're happy.
Yeah, and I think it helps fix people.
It helps. And I don't know whether, you know, it's a fix or something, but I truly believe that if even for a short period of time, you believe that everything is going to be okay. When you leave and you go to your environment that is maybe not okay, you changed already. Because if you don't have that environment, that's when you're sinking in your own juice of the misery. But when you have moments of when somebody says something nice to you and you feel loved and you touch another person and music, you come back to the bad, but you're still different. Yeah,
and I think that's why at dancing it's so important to be kind to each other. A kind word goes so far you don't realise. I think sometimes if people haven't been dancing, a short text to them to just check on them, it just makes such a difference to people.
Absolutely. The community is a huge thing. Mental health. Okay, so is there any other health benefits that we haven't mentioned from dancing?
Yeah, I think a big part we haven't mentioned is what we call musculoskeletal health.
Yes, and the flexibility.
Yeah, so musculoskeletal muscles is one thing. Skeletal, we talked about the bones. So if we talk a little bit about the muscles, you probably know more about this than I do, but I know it will increase your flexibility and your core strength. And we know by doing that, you improve your balance and prevent muscle injury. So in my general practice, I see lots of people with lower back pain, really because their core isn't strong.
That's so true. And it's interesting because also just because you have a six pack, like I do, little note to myself, it doesn't mean that your core is strong. A lot of people don't understand this because there's a lot of people with great visual effects. And it's not the strength really, and they still have back problems. So just because you maybe work out the core, it doesn't mean that you're working out on the strength. So the dancing is super important because certain positions require you to hold your core in specific ways that actually builds the strength. And that's why you will see also maybe some people who are on the bigger size and their actually core is quite strong. So it's a very interesting thing because you're actually working on a skill rather than just the visual itself of the body. So that's important. And also the flexibility itself, that's huge. Because when we get older, we're less flexible, right?
Yeah, and also our balance goes. So as we get older, we don't have the same our vision lets us down, so it's a little bit off balance. Your ears let you down, so again, a little bit off balance. And your core, you have less core strength. So by building your core strength, you're building your ability to prevent falls. Really.
Why do we get less flexible? Is it, and sometimes we hunch as well.
Yeah, I think
posture, I would say dancing as well is good. No?
Yeah, I think it's just because we do less. We're just not doing enough exercise. I think patients that I see who are in their 90s, the ones that are well are the ones that are walking 2 miles a day. They're doing everything for themselves. And I think walking, weight-bearing exercise is so key. Dancing is just more fun than walking.
Absolutely. Dance is definitely more fun. Hey, there's a lot of people who love to walk. I know, there's a lot of hiking situations going on, and that's all great. I like to hike too. But it's a different thing. Yeah. It's a different thing. The music is blasting, everybody's smiling and having good. Yeah, it's a different thing. So, okay, flexibility, posture, muscles, core strength, right? We talked about bones for the density, okay? We have the cardiovascular, the heart, the system, the pumping, the valves, everything's moving.
Yeah.
Mental health for all kinds of things, to refresh the head, to not feel alone, social aspect and stuff. All of these great things. Who do you think, because we know everybody would benefit from dancing, but who do you think in general would benefit from dancing the most? What kind of people? With what kind of issues? If somebody maybe is facing an issue and you really think that if they would start dancing would make a difference?
I actually think people who are suffering with anxiety and depression. So part of my treatment plan for those patients that come and see me in general practice is really about exercise. And it's about exercise that you enjoy. And so many people enjoy dancing, but they don't realize they can start at any age. And you can start with no skill whatsoever.
Absolutely.
So I think it's encouraging and putting it out there that you can do an exercise that you enjoy. Because we know in mental health, by doing any exercise, it's better. But I think with the dancing, you get the social connection, you get the community, you just got added benefits.
Yes.
And often people are probably a little bit frightened to go to a class on their own. So I think hopefully if people watch this, they will be encouraged. We're all nice people. We're all from different backgrounds, so it doesn't matter what kind of background you're from.
True.
You're just there as a dancer.
You're just there to enjoy yourself. Yeah. That's so true. And I know for a fact that if I wouldn't have started dancing, I don't know what I would do. I would go cuckoo.
I think for me personally as well, even though I've been dancing salsa for 16 years, if I share, I had a personal bad experience last year, and I started learning with you privately.
Yes.
Bachata. And I've now got a whole new community. I go on a Tuesday to the Salsateca class.
Yes.
You teach there.
Yes. A little promo there, Salsateca. Yeah. You're welcome. Raise my salary, Salsateca.
But it's great. There's a WhatsApp group. You're part of another community. And I can see I've blossomed in the past year. And I think you've really probably got stories of other people with the same thing.
Yes, but it never gets old.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When you see it's something about, and I'm sure you see this in your practice, but it's something about seeing a person that comes in and then months go by and you just see them light up. It's just the light, the general light that the person who is not carrying a burden on their shoulder has. Because everybody has a light, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's a different light, but everybody carries some sort of light. And when that burden comes off, and through dancing, it seems like that's what happens. You get lighter, you get lighter, you get lighter, and people shine more. And when you see that, and especially with somebody you like and care for, it's a wonderful thing. It never gets old.
It is special.
And then you feel better.
You do.
Like the person who, like for me, if I see some of my students suddenly be happier and enjoy themselves more and enjoy life more, I benefit.
Yeah.
And that's the vicious circle that happens in our community. It's like somebody else gets better, you feel better.
Yeah, and same in general practice. It's great to follow that person up and they just transform.
Yes.
And you actually, as a person, benefit from that. And I think that's why I love my job.
Absolutely. Now, before we leave this topic, is there anything you think we haven't mentioned that should have been mentioned? Why dance is beneficial in health way?
I actually think we've covered
most of it. We did good. We did good. We stick to the topic at hand. Leewayed a little bit. Well, what I want to say is that I think it's so important that people would know a little bit more about the things that they do and how it benefits their health, and actually how it sometimes maybe harms their health.
Yeah.
So I have so many topics that I want to cover with you. So will you be back and we can talk about some other things too?
It would be a pleasure.
Nice. I put her on the spot. What is she's going to say no now in front of the camera? But guys, the important bit is that you would actually tell us. So if you are listening this on Spotify or other areas, that's great. But if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you leave a comment. If you have anything you want to ask this topic related, I'll make sure that she answers. And also, if you want her to be back and talk about other things, you can not only suggest the topics, but you could just say, please, Shereen, be back.
Oh, that's so lovely.
And if they don't say that you need to come back, we will pretend the segment never existed. Now, guys, before we leave you, please subscribe and, of course, like the video, share it with your friends, and we really appreciate any support you can show us. In the description, I'm going to link some of the information about you.
Lovely.
So that the people could actually have a look, have a read. And if they want to find you and maybe visit your clinic, you might regret this. They can also do this. But remember, she's a busy woman. So if you decide to go to her clinic, don't be surprised if you need a very long waiting appointment. True?
Yeah, about 6 weeks.
6 weeks. There you go. But the information will be there. So check it out. And guys, we will see you in another podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.